I mean, there's an interesting question someone's raised about their Nutmeg stocks and shares ISA. They're 80 in equities, 20 in bonds, and the sharp drop is scary, and I'm beginning to think I'll lose it all, which I simply can't afford. I'm starting to wobble and wonder if I should be rebalancing towards cash bonds or do nothing and wait it out. Does anyone else feel like this? Now, everybody feels like this. Anybody who has looked at their portfolio in recent weeks will be sitting there thinking, what is going on? Because as I say, the only asset that's been holding up has been cash. Bonds have been collapsing. You'll see bond funds falling 4 or 5% in a day. That's almost unprecedented. And what we're getting is this loop where, in America in particular, big hedge funds are liquidating holdings. People want their money out because equity markets are falling. The bonds, they're having to liquidate assets that are easy to liquidate, bonds, gold, all of these kind of assets. That's driving the price of those down, which is causing more panic, and it's a bit of a doom loop. So that's why you're seeing everything fall. If you can afford it, then the sensible thing is to not panic. Because what happens is this, I talk about in the podcast this week, but what happens is there's a physiological changes that happen to people. It's that flight or fight mechanism that occurs. And we become very narrow-minded. And what happens is that you'll look at your portfolio and you won't even notice your kids have walked in the room. And you focus on bad news. And that is something that happens. It's very human. And what it means is you start to not notice the positive on the periphery that will start to happen. And it means that you then start making decisions based on limited data. And you focus and therefore make impaired decisions. So I think making decisions on a basis of now is not necessarily a positive thing to do. What you're better off doing if you're making a decision is making a decision that it's been shown to help stress levels, is if you make decisions in isolation about what's going on in investment markets. So that means making decisions when markets are closed, or making decisions whereby you follow a strategy that maybe you start to, like drip feeding that's been mentioned, or exiting by dripping out. And what that does is that gives people a sense of control. And if they have a sense of control, it reduces their level of stress. So it's not telling people to bail out, because what inevitably happens is people bail out at the point right at the bottom. So it's about trying to control people's emotions. So people, what they will learn from this is that whether their investing was really for them in the first place. So the answer is, if you have a time frame that's of 5 to 10 years, which you should do if you've only just opened up a Nutmeg stocks and shares at ISA, then there will be a recovery. And we've had some of the worst periods on record, 2008 for example. Within 5 years things had recovered, even if you've done absolutely nothing. And as I say, those periods of time on average about 200 days.